trying to stop a colony that's coming in with the push, and orange is coming in for the flank, to then seeing an amazing cleansing beam that is coming down by my teammate, taking out a lot of units, to finally trying to push orange's base with some Wraith Invaders and some vehicles. So let's go back in time to see how it all ends up playing out. We have ourselves the supply depot with a gen, and we are going with rolling economy, or the actual leader ability for Pavium that increases supply and all that stuff. So I'm playing as Pavium. Our teammate Apple is playing as Shipmaster. Our other teammate Green is playing as Decimus. And on the opponent side, we have ourselves Pretzel0001 playing as Isabel, Retained Bobcat 0 playing as Colony for yellow, and Spartub22 playing as Isabel as well for orange. So Isabels are holding off the lanes, and this is going to be pretty interesting because some Isabels like to go vehicles right away, knowing that the correct answer would probably be to go ahead and go hunters and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens. Always it's important to get yourself a good scout in, but for now we're taking supplies across the map, and we are just going with a simple supply gen build, and we're going to go ahead and get another supply pad for our 5th building point, so then we can go ahead and probably focus on choppers. I think that's the route that I'm going to end up going here. And so we're going to finish taking those supplies and keep working on the rest that are around the map. And once we have enough supply, we'll go ahead and take that mini base, which we so happen to do. So Chopper is now out, and we're going to send that Chopper to go ahead and start scouting orange to see what they are going to plan on doing, which will also determine when I grab the second base, because I've been seeing some Pavium play where people are grabbing second bases, making that war console and locking up the base, where then it becomes such a hard time to get rid of that base as Pavium. I mean, when you're going against a Pavium doing that. So I see that. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the second base now and take a roll and see what the scout does, which is going to determine what I'm going to go ahead and do next. But I will go ahead and start producing some choppers and start defending ourselves. So right now, yellow isn't really showing up. Burnout is the leader of that ability, and so far the second gen has not been upgraded yet, and they are incredibly supply heavy right now by red. So that's going to just mean that, hey, they're going to take a bit before they get to tech 2, which is totally fine. And yellow has shown up with some skitters as well as their guy lots, so, and a raid camp. So it does look like aggression is going to be happening, at least by the colony, which means I want to upgrade these supply pads because I want to be able to produce more choppers. Burnout is ready for me to go ahead and use, but I don't have the supplies just yet, so we're going to focus on trying to get rid of that marine. And now we use that ability that was actually very well microed by me, but we're working on getting rid of the marine that's over here. And will we be able to do it before the reinforcements come in? Yes. No, we do not. So we're going to go back to look at yellow very quick to make sure that there's no funny shenanigans that is going on here. And we're going to keep our production up for our grunts. And look at that. We just swallowed a suicide grunt. That's always a nice thing to see. So war console is ready. We're going to lock up the base, and we're going to start producing our Pavium. We're going to upgrade our stronghold, and we're going to stay on tech 1 for a little bit longer, mainly because I want to go ahead and focus on this economy and get the economy in a place that I feel comfortable with to be able to produce what I need to produce. And so yellow, the shipmaster, the light blue shipmaster, is going a mixture of ghosts and keeping his 3 grunts alive to go ahead and start working on the nodes, upgrading our Pavium. We're still producing more choppers, which is always pretty nice. Almost gave my teammate 300 power, well, 200 technically. And now yellow is starting to push down the ramp towards an expansion base, but there isn't really anything there for them to see. Choppers are here, and as well as ghosts, and orange is trying to come in with the flank with some marines, but that's just not going to happen. So we're going to clear this up, and the ghosts are also going to deal with orange, and I'm going to go ahead and handle the flank on this side to go ahead and deal with these marines that are over here. And so we just cleared out a ton of Marines that happen to be over here, which is pretty nice as a whole. And now yellow is starting to fight the colony that's happening there at mid. I mean, there's no actual colony, but colonies units. And I'm going to start getting some units set up. And I did eat a couple or a lot of mines, unfortunately. And so now Decimus is being trapped by the leader. He got stunned and he's getting focused down. We don't have enough to go ahead and stop that from happening. So I'm going to just go ahead and retreat right away, in order to make sure that I don't lose any more units and have more of a defensive posture at the moment. And so another thing that I noticed is that I definitely could have at least got the remainder of those 2 building slots set up, or at least one of them, so we can get a better economy as a whole. But it just has not happened. But we're going to get close to that 800 power to eventually get that 3rd gen, because power is going to be very important. And so there we go, we're getting that gen upgraded. I mean, placed down. So far there's no second base. Red does show pressure on that right hand side. Green is not going to be expanding, and red is grabbing a second base. So as of right now, it looks like the expansion is going to be more towards our left side. So that means orange is going to have to grab the base that we have vision with. And I am making a mega turret in my bottommost slot for my main base, second base. So then that way I have good control over pressure in case they try to do any for our lane. And so the ghosts are going to come here and clear out the remainder of the grunts, which is always a nice thing to see. Choppers are showing up here to reinforce as well. And raid camp is being made to go ahead and start making engineers, as I mentioned before. Usually with Isabel, nightingales and scorpion tanks are a thing, as well as just mass warhogs. And so getting some hunters up and some reavers up is going to be very good to see down the line. And so we do have our 3rd gen up and running. We will get an apex to allow us to go ahead and heal for our units for all the damage they have taken so far. And now light blue has seen some of orange's army, and orange does look like they want to try and posture, but because of the ghost, he's going to go ahead and focus down on a free Kodiak. Yeah, there is a little bit of air that's engaging on that, but that's definitely doable. So I'm looking to send the rest of my choppers over to go ahead and help light blue, but then he falls back just a little bit. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep grabbing the remainder of the supply and everything that's set up around the map. And speaking of which, a cleansing beam is coming down because orange didn't know about the extra vision light blue has, and able to do a lot of damage there, which is very nice to see. Mega turret is now set up in the middle of the base, and so shield gen is up as well. We want to see if we can try and stop them from capturing that base. Ability is going down, not sure what it is yet. It is a cleansing beam, and the cleansing beam is going down, doing quite a bit of damage. It looks like we are going to stop them from capturing center, which is actually pretty nice. And the mega turret is doing great damage as a whole as well. Light blue is showing up with some ghosts, but there's really not much we can do left in regards to that. So orange is stuck on 1 base, and light green is too stuck on 1 base. And so the play here is to try to keep orange on 1 base for as much as possible, while green continues to get an army that's better for him. And the mega turret will at least provide some defensive pressure if they try to go ahead and push middle, because we have vision from the garrisons as well as the node that's set up in the middle. And so we have some choppers that we're going to go ahead and send over. We are going to go ahead and get Wraith Invaders because we are making some hunters, so I want to go ahead and get them inside of there if possible. Reavers are coming in as well. We made a couple locusts to be able to do some building damage. And looking back at this game, I think setting up the locusts on the high ground would have been the better move here. But we're going to see how this plays out. So upgrading that 4th gen just because we're incredibly power heavy for this build. And we're going to start working on the base. We're bringing our army in. We have choppers trying to work on the base as a whole. Pavium is here as well. And now orange has a decision to make. We're going to go for an attack here. We're going to see if we can do anything about this. We're going to try and do a Y move with Pavium. We do have some units coming down, but Isabel's back is coming in, and it does hurt some of our units. And I did get a Y move in, but unfortunately I moved my Pavium, which caused the leader ability to go away. And so now we're kind of stuck in a weird spot. Another Mac comes down. We're losing a lot of units. And this engagement that was looking so good at first is now not looking as well. We do have some Reavers and some Hunters that are still trying to clear out the Nightingales and what's on the ground. But now Yellow has shown up for reinforcements. But we do have Blisterbacks that are helping us out. Great Vortex Lightning by the Pavium. And now we're just going to go ahead and just try and retreat to the best of our ability over here. We are going to be able to push him back with that Blisterback that's set up over there. Very nicely set up, by the way, where it's in the cloak and kind of in the shield gen. That's actually very well placed Blisterback. That's something I got to go ahead and take a note on. I really like how that's placed. So we're going to go ahead and keep this pressure up, right? This is his second base and nothing's really been established yet. So we want to be able to do stuff about that. Engineering Swarm is coming down. A displacement on his army comes in. And then all of a sudden, Colony is in a very bad spot, but then teleports all the way right back. And so we have ourselves still a huge engagement. The Reavers are doing a great job trying to keep the air in check from Orange. Engineering Swarm is finally going down, which is something that you want to see. We're going to go ahead and start falling back just a little bit. But Pavium is in there and still alive, and we're doing a lot of damage, and it looks like the colony is going to go down as well. So now they're on Tech 3. They got themselves some vehicles going on, and Red is coming in with a big push on that right hand side with a bunch of counters towards the mass air, which is a lot of Reavers and combat mechanic Marines. And so we're trying to do as much damage as we can. They have better upgrades than us, that's for sure, because my Hunters inside the Wraith Invaders aren't doing as well as we would like. The Shroud is here for the cloak, but it's not really cloaking much units. But we're still trying to send any reinforcements that we can. This 1-1-1 build is pretty handy, but it's also detrimental at the same time. And so we're getting some damage in, and we're clearing out the remainder of these units. And it doesn't look like there is much left in regards to reinforcements. Y-Move is coming down on the tank to try and take that out as well. And it does look like we're going to be able to clear that out. Any reinforcements that are coming in has now been short-stopped. And Orange's second base that he was able to establish does look like it's going to start going down in pieces. But a restoration drone is coming down to try and keep that base alive. Red is still posturing on this right-hand side, so hopefully they'll be able to do something about it with leader abilities or just with great fortification. And speaking of which, a cleansing beam comes down and it really hurts Red pretty badly in regards to the units that they have. Reinforcements is finally going to be used because we need extra units. And now we're going to start working our way over to Orange. As I said, Orange is the weaker link here because they are on one base. Second base has not been established, and so now we're going to start working on it. We're going to start taking out this base. Mini base has been self-destructed, and now we're going to start working towards the main base. We are getting enough to get our last leader point, and what I mean by last will be, I think it's the 5th leader point, where we have the ability to use Pavium's ult. I call it an ult for if we want to use it. Shroud comes in to keep the units invisible, which is always pretty nice. We're going to use the Y move on the turret to try to get rid of that. Engineering Swarm is coming in, but look, Hunters being upgraded to level 1 is going to be amazing when a Mac comes down to get rid of the Shroud. But now we have the Lynch Vanguard, so once the Engineer Swarm is gone, we're going to go ahead and try and pressure. We're going to make some more Engineers. We have Burnout ready to go. We're going to go ahead and use that. And now we're going to use the Lynch Vanguard because the Engineering Swarm is going to be gone. And now we can go ahead and start pressuring the enemy. And just like that, Orange ends up disconnecting from the game. And so now this game is going to be over because Red ends up disconnecting as well. So all that's left is the colony that is at mid. And what I mean by mid is that they're spawn mid. And a tactical gateway has been placed by my teammate over here, so we can go ahead and teleport on in to try and do some damage. Vortex Lightning comes down as well. I thought Yellow didn't have much in an army, but boy was I wrong, because here he comes with Colony and the rest of his army. The expansion base was taken out, which is pretty nice. Pavium is about to die, but Pavium was able to go near the Wraith Invader. I lied, he's just staying out there. We have a Wraith Invader get blown up, but we do have a Y move coming in on Pavium that's going to be right on the Reaver. That's really weakening the rest of their units, which is something that you want to see. And so the rest of his army is going to be taken out, and this is going to bring this game to a close. So all in all, I thought this was a pretty cool match. You got a little bit of action in all levels and just great ability to recognize that, orange was the weaker side of that lane. And shout out to green being able to hold off his side as well. So all in all, I went 26 for 40, led in the power department. Apple Pie went 14 for 43 and just did very good when it comes to efficiency. Ginger Brian Man went 16 for 25 for units lost and units destroyed. Pretzel 0001 went 20 for 15 but wrecked the supply game. He really had the most supply out of everybody else and the most active leaders powers used. The colony retained Bobcat 51 for 25, not that efficient, and Spartan AB 38 for 16. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to go ahead and give it a like if you enjoyed it, so then I know to keep making this type of content. But with that being said, you have yourself a good one. You have yourself a splendid one. Really hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your day.